This is Starr Radio UK.
All around the world. In your car,
at work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK. We apologize sincerely for the breaking transmission to all our listeners. Those of you on the social media platform, and those of you who were on our apps were still enjoying the show. And it's now gone a quarter past 11. And it is the Starr Radio UK Thursday edition of the morning show. And as they say, yes, the show must still go on. Okay, so let me go straight to our North London studios where we have our one and only Mr. Olayomi, who is all geared up this morning to bring you updates from Nigeria whilst we continue to do that sort of setups for you. So let me say a massive good morning to you, Yomi.
Well, it is a very good morning to you, Mr. Archie. Good morning to all our listeners and viewers from around the globe. And we welcome you once again to Starr Radio UK. It is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. It is the 14th of the April 2022, and it's just coming up to about 60 minutes past. And like we say, we would like to apologize for that breaking transmission, but we are back and gear and ready to kick again this Thursday edition of the morning show.
Yes, how are you doing, sir?
Well, I'm doing very well. It is still the the season of holiday. As you know, the children are still at home, and quite a lot of activities. The weather is very, very beautiful out there. I've just literally make it back home in just about less than about 10 minutes, and you could tell that the weather is very beautiful out there for those that are going out. But the question about the weather is, as I was making my way to the studio yesterday, my son was saying to me, remember to take your jacket because you never know what the weather will say on your way back. And he was quite right. The weather was not what I expected on my way back home after, this Wednesday edition of the Niger Voices, that we might touch a little bit about that later on as well.
Yes, listeners, Mr. Olayomi for you. As you know, this is the British weather, which I know Frank would say, well, you know what? It is like the people who live in it. So you and I live in it, so maybe it's like us. We keep on changing like no man's business. Okay, let's go straight to what we discussed yesterday. For the sake of those who didn't have the privilege of joining you on the Niger Voices, but I always want us to go back there so that people will know exactly what took place and what they've missed. Yes, so what did you discuss yesterday, sir?
Yesterday, our focus point again was all about the insecurity in Nigeria, and then who should we hold responsible, for the insecurity in the country. So that means, we were engaged, because this past week, this week alone, in less than 72 hours, we've literally witnessed quite a lot of numbers of innocent Nigerians that have been attacked, either through a terrorist attack or just people that are kidnapped. I got the news as I was making my way just about a few meters before getting home yesterday, when somebody literally called me from Nigeria, and they had a missing son that they want us to announce, which I'm going to be discussing as well later. So yesterday, if you haven't been part of the Niger Voices family, we will appreciate if you can join us every Wednesday between the hours of 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., where we discuss everything regarding Nigeria. And also, as we continue to focus on the election that is coming, as more people are saying there won't be election, and a lot of people also believe that as Nigeria is at the moment, there's quite a lot of pressure. So quite a lot of things we discussed, and it was fully packed with so many interactive engagement, especially because the way things are now, you can literally speak directly, to your listeners, and which is exactly what we did yesterday. So we would appreciate if more people join us every Wednesday, like we say, between the hours of 6 p.m. every Wednesday to 8 p.m. on Niger Voices.
Wow, listeners, that is Mr. Olayomi Koiki for you. A bit of a summary of what happened yesterday on the Niger Voices, which comes away every Wednesday exactly from 18 hours GMT. 18 hours this time around BST, but GMT +1. Okay, when we are in the summertime. Okay, but wherever you are, thank you very much once again for joining us, and continue to share the broadcast. Once again, let me apologize sincerely for the break in transmission earlier on, but we are live and we are up running, and wherever you are, don't you go away, but continue with us. Now let's come to the story that you did post during the first broadcast. You did talk about the case that has been adjourned. Is it a hearing pertaining to the 1999 Constitution that has been adjourned to the 17th of May. But before you make any comment, let me say good morning to Anthony Adedeji, Amaya Jerigene, and all you wonderful people who listen to us from all the way in Nigeria and on the Africa and every part of the world as well. Now, yes, 1999 Constitution. Over to you, sir.
Well, if you remember, yesterday was meant to be, a hearing of that court case, but for the fact that there's a holiday, Easter break, so all the judges are not available. So that case have now, been shifted to the 17th of May. What is the reason for this? The reason is nothing more than that a lot of those that believe that the 1999 Constitution is a military decree, and that means it's got no space. When we talk about the current validity of it. So, if you are saying that you want to hold an election, on what ground, on what basis do you want to hold that election? And that is the focus point of some of the Yoruba self-determination lead group that have said that. They will challenge that, for the upcoming court case that will be coming up in Osun State and Ekiti State. These are the two. People might be wondering why we have an election ahead when there is no election yet, because we know that the election, which I'm going to be giving us a countdown, is still next year. But what normally happens is that sometimes we do see that occur because of the way challenges have been occurring in the last couple of years. So that means we don't have all the governorship elections that comes up simultaneously. So sometimes we have some of them that comes up just about before the full election. So just so our listeners that might be wondering why we're talking about an election when the full election is still coming up next year. So Ilana Modua is challenging this at the local courts in Osun State and also in Ekiti State. So this is the latest update that we have before we go into some of the other headlines. This is to inform you that the Osogbo court case instituted by Ilana Omo Odua worldwide against the validity of the 1999 Constitution has been adjourned today, which was the 13th of April yesterday, to 17th of May 2022 for motion and mention. The court case for Ekiti State still stands with the actual day, which is the 28th of April this particular month. So you can see that as much as a lot of people might say election will hold, we also have those that are challenging the constitution itself as against whether it should be used on any election, especially in the Yoruba land.
Interesting.
Which is also which is the southwest of Nigeria. For those that might probably be wondering, what is the Yoruba land? It is the southwest, and that is the indigenous people known as the Yorubas.
Okay, but when it comes to the general elections, we know that there are people from that area who are also vying for various positions there. So, what are the stakeholders in there? What have they said? Those who are vying for those places. We have the what do you call him? The deputy, the vice president, who comes from that side, from the southwest, and we have a few. Is it Tinubu from that side as well? Now, what are they saying? Is it that they are also of the view that the 1999 Constitution is something that got some flaws in there and therefore needs to be, re-looked at, or what?
Well, and that is quite interesting because yesterday while we were live on Niger Voices, I was playing one of the audio clip of one of the, this was 3 years ago during the Independence Day, when they were having a kind of a conversation. Professor Akibode was challenging the 1999 Constitution. Somebody said, the same professor was the same with the current vice president. They were almost in the same law school when they were having their law time at the Unilab. So you wonder if the vice president of Nigeria does not know that the 1999 Constitution is illegal and it's a military decree. The government of the day might tell you that they are currently doing an amendment to the Constitution. But the challenge again there is how do you amend something that is illegal in the first place? So yes, you are quite right. The Yorubas, the Igbo, and some of the contestants as well will be contesting on the same 1999 Constitution. Remember, it has been used since the days of the former President Olusegun Obasanjo, where he was the one that started using that constitution, even though everybody agrees that constitution is illegal, and that is why Ilana Modua is challenging that at the courts in Ekiti State and Osun State, where they'll be having the election of governorship in the next couple of months.
Okay, listeners, some of the stories making the rounds from Nigeria, 11:25 the time. Let me acknowledge a couple of people who have joined us. Suleiman Yusuf says, good morning to you. Mr. Kofi Ali Abdul Yakin, good morning to you. Amayo says, Yoruba nation account for almost 70% of Nigeria's economy. Very interesting. We've talked about the fact that, resources are not, they become. So maybe today, the sand that people are working on in a particular area might not be worth anything, but tomorrow, because of development or what inventions, we'll have somebody who's saying that, look at the sand around maybe the northern part of Nigeria. It's now something that we can use to prepare maybe aircraft, and then hey, that makes them rich there. So, but let your comments come through. Let your comments come through. All right. Okay. Let's move on to one other story. Yesterday, whilst Frank was on, you and I were not there, but he did mention a statement from the Northern elders who were calling for the resignation of the president because they think that he has been a failure. And he was asking the question there. So I know that maybe you have more information pertaining to that. He was saying that, he was asking the question, these Northern elders, who are they? And have they got the bite at all?
The Northern Elder Forums are just the same like what we can call the same like the Afeni Ferry that tends to also is from the Yoruba side, and we have the Hanize that also from the Yoruba side as well. They've been a very, very outspoken, just as so many other social cultural groups. The Nigerian Northern Forums keeping the Igbo is not worth a civil war. I'm just reading some of the articles that you can think of. This was in 2021 July, and this was posted on the Council on Foreign Relations. On the June 9, following the closed-door meeting, the Northern Elders Forum issued a public statement that the Igbo dominated the Southeast should be allowed to secede from the Federal Republic of Nigeria if it was necessary to avoid a civil war. The Northern Elders Forum spokesman Akim Baba Ahmed, that I'm going to be discussing, that also talked about Buhari to be resigned, said the forum has arrived at the difficult conclusion that if support for secession among the Igbo is as widespread as it's been to look, and the Igbo leadership appears to be in support of it, then the country should be advised not to stand in its way in a statement. So you could see that they are very, very, out there. But the one you talked about is what, as also the question is again, the Northern elders have asked Buhari to resign on security. The issue of security in Nigeria is not something that we can shy away from, but we must talk about it and see how things can be sorted out, because a lot of lives are at stake. And I'm going to be telling you what the Amnesty International is releasing this morning as well. But according to the Elders Forum of the Northern Elders Forum, as demanded, they are demanding with immediate resignation of President Muhammadu Buhari over the killings across the country, especially in the north. The Director of Publicity and Advocacy of the Northern Elders Forum, Dr. Akim Baba Ahmed, made the call yesterday. While he was making the call yesterday, before coming back into the studio, it's exactly 11:29. This is Starr Radio UK. It is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London, and this is the morning show where we discuss all the updates coming from Nigeria. So while that was going on, I was speaking this news coming from the Amnesty International in Nigeria, and this is what they have to say, that 8 years after the adoption of the 276 Chibok schoolgirls by the Boko Haram, and with more than 1,500 school children adopted by the armed groups since the Chibok incident affected regions, have seen a decline in school enrollment and advancement. 8 years. So that means it's not just about this government, it has been the same as well. Nigeria is failing to protect vulnerable children by refusing to respond to a lot of impending attack on schools across the north of the country, which is what the Northern Elders Forum are talking about. The Nigerian authorities have failed to pretend mass adoptions of thousands of school children. In all cases, authorities have remained shockingly unwilling to investigate these attacks or to ensure that the perpetrators of these callous crimes face justice. Every fresh attack is followed by further adoption that deprives school children of their right to liberty. This is Starr Radio UK. I'll come back again to you in the studio.
Well, listeners, Mr. Olayomi Koiki, for you, bringing you some more of that update that we are talking about with the statement by the Northern Elders Forum. And but Amayo says that Northern Elders calling for Buhari's resignation is just out of time. Why now? Now, where have they been since inception of this government? It is strategy and an agenda. Olayomi Tosino, good afternoon to you. I know in Moscow it's afternoon now. Good afternoon. It's a good afternoon from here. We will not, he says, Nigeria is a big scam to have happened to humankind. Interesting. But Amayo says, we will not be fooled by their statement and killing here, killing there, killing everywhere. Break it up. Save their lives. But interestingly, these Northern Elders, are they let's say where Buhari comes from, the state that Buhari comes from, what's the name of that state? Katsina State. Are there representatives from there? And are there people who relate to the APC? Or these are neutral people, they don't belong to the PDP, or maybe disgruntled people who were in the PDP and who lost power and therefore are on the other side now and are posing questions saying that hey, so that to make him unpopular so that his party can be voted out. Is that what is going on there?
Well, not literally so. I mean, we have, these are members of different political party views. So it's not just about, the Northern Elders Forum, in support of the PDP or in support of the APC. Like I said, some of them do have alignment with some of this political party, which there's no doubt, just as the one from the Onaize and the Yoruba, the Afenifere, and the, just as the Ilano, which is again, asking for the total exit of the Yoruba from the Nigeria of today. So the Elders Network Forums are not just from the lining of APC or PDP, but yes, some of them do have, their interest with each of these political parties, as we know.
Okay, listeners, Star Radio UK, 11:33. We'll just move on straight. And once again, we apologize for the earlier break in transmission. It is updates from Nigeria coming to you from our North London studios with where Mr. Olayomi Koiki is at the moment. Now, let's move on to some of the other stories that is making the rounds, and this pertaining to what the BBC has said about some issues that have gone on down there in Nigeria. Let me try to bring that your way before Yomi goes on to bring you some of the other stories. Where he's talking about, oh God, it's eluded me. So, okay, I think you posted that a number of people who have been abducted, lots of others who have been school children and everything that is going on. Where did this issue take place?
Well, we have almost every part of the region that is completely, people are running away. There is no safety anymore. So it's not just in a particular state that the amnesty have bracketed this. Even in some part of the southwest, we've seen, people, especially in our rural communities, that probably don't have enough access to education in the first place, but because of the atrocity that is happening on a daily basis, more children are not going to school for that purpose. We know as we speak today, there's over 13 million Nigerian children that are out of school. Not just the children now, we still now also have the university that is completely still out of university student strike because of the engagement between the government and the staff academy that are not working together. So it now means that from what Amnesty is saying, this point that we must continue to raise is Nigeria is failing to protect the vulnerable children by refusing to respond to a lot of impending attacks on schools across the north. But I mean, as we know, the north is really on the heat, but we also know that in the southeast, as an example, there's more of the military, in there, creating a lot of havoc, as we might say. But the most important thing is, that also might not allow people to go to school. So as we know that the terror attack is happening in the north, in the southeast, the military invasion of their territory is also making people to be scared of going to school. Whereas in the southwest, our community are now becoming more vulnerable as well. Just as last year, we have one part of the community in Ogun State have to all run to Benin Republic for safety because of the invasion of the land.
Wow, interesting there. Before we move on to other stories, Amayo says Akamata is a new name of Nigeria from boss British. I don't know when British named Nigeria Akamata. And Amayo says the agenda is land grabbing and ethnic cleansing. Is that what Nigeria is trying to do? But again, somebody will tell you that what is happening is not only peculiar to the southern part, but in the north, that is where most of the atrocities is happening. Because I just anytime I turn my page to look at stories coming from Nigeria, you find out that there isn't a single day that you won't hear a case of people being abducted or being killed. So it's become something like a norm now. But what do you think? We want you to post your comments on our Facebook page, and I promise you we're going to be reading that. If you have any ideas, why not bring it on? All right then. Now let's go back to Yomi for some of the other stories. Over to you, Yomi.
After almost 2 years, I can tell you the image of Showore excited in Nasarawa State. You might be asking me, what is he doing in Nasarawa? Because we know he was meant to be in Abuja, that he has been for the last 2 years. But the image is just coming right now in front of me. Showore meet and greet supporters in Nasarawa State. But that is all because the Court of Appeal lifted the movement restriction that was imposed on Omoyele Showore, the founder of Sahara Reporter. And also, he called for the revolution now in 2019, August, when he was picked up from an hotel in Lagos State. Hashtag revolution now protest. Appeal court lift move.
Okay, listeners, just bear with us. I think we have Mr. Olayomi's line frozen, but whilst we try to get him back on, we have Tosino saying that may Nigeria never happen to you, Archie. Tosino, thank you for your prayers. I pray that what is happening in Nigeria doesn't happen to me, and it shouldn't happen to anybody. That's why we are trusting that our leaders will do the right thing. Amayo also says terrorists, bandits, headers, and Boko Haram had killed more people in Nigeria than in war-torn Ukraine. And I can't agree with you more there at all, because the other time I was saying I was saying exactly that. That if we count the number of people who have been killed in Nigeria, I can tell you assuredly that that supersedes what has happened in Ukraine. But what do you think? It's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Just bear with us. I don't know whether we still got Yomi on. Let me see. Yomi, are you there? Okay, listeners, just bear with us. We try to get Yomi's line back on. Yes. Let me see whether I can connect to him from here. Starr Radio UK. I think he's having a connectivity issue there, but I think he's on now. We should get him on up in the next few moments. But let's see whilst he tries to get in. Yomi.
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm not sure what happened there. I think we lost the transmission there, but we're back on again.
Yeah.
Sorry to all our listeners, watching us from different platforms, for the breaking transmission. Yes, I was actually talking about Sowore, appearing in Nasarawa, and that is because we now know that they've lifted the movement of his restriction. The Federal High Court in Abuja had in 2019 restricted Mr. Sowore movement to Abuja as part of a bail condition, granting him a treasonable felony trial instituted against him for calling for the #Revolution Now protest against Buhari administration. But the Court of Appeal in Abuja yesterday lifted the movement restriction imposed by the High Court on a human rights activist and the publisher of the Sahara Reporter. So Sowore is now a free man to move around, and like I said, I can see his image with a lot of his supporter in Nasarawa State, and that means he's going to be moving around. Remember, Sowore is also contesting for the seat of the president in 2023, and like I said, we would continue with the program. Once again, this is Starr Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay. Now we're gonna take.
Yeah, just a quick one on the Sowore case. Has he been granted bail that he can leave the country, or just he's been granted bail, but he has to still remain in the country? Can he leave the country?
Well, what we know is
yes, go on, sir.
The movement from what we know is this restriction that have been lifted might mean that he might be able to move around. The controversial bail condition that was imposed on Sowore by the trial judge then Ijoma Ojukwu included a 100 million bail bond with two shorties, of whom was required to deposit 50 million in cash to the court bank account. But what we know is now that this movement has been restricted, it might also, maybe Sowore might be able to travel. That's subject to if he can get back his traveling documents, as we do know that is currently in the hands of the DSS, but we will see maybe that will be returned back to him or not. But for now, Sowore can move around the country, as against when he was unable to move around for a very long time, almost 2 years. Even when his brother died, Sowore could not travel, to bury the brother. He was literally stuck in Abuja, and a lot of conversation. And remember, the brother was killed as well, by this terrorist group operating in Nigeria. So now that he's a free man, we just have to see what and more. But I think the first thing he's done is he has traveled down to Nasarawa State to speak to some of his supporters there, and we will continue to monitor that as well. But like I said, for now, his restriction has been lifted, and that means he might be able to now move around more than he couldn't do in the last 2 years. I mean, 2 years has been a very long time. 11:42. I know we've spent quite a lot of time, this morning, but the issues that we were discussing this morning, especially pertaining to the insecurity in the land, is very, very important to get there. Especially even the Amnesty International coming out to say about 1,500 children are completely vulnerable, out of school, and so many of them were not in school in the first place. We have about almost 13 million, Nigerian children that are currently out of school. So we're going to take a couple of more headlines, and then we'll come back again quickly to all our listeners from around the globe that have joined us from different parts of the globe this morning. So these are some of the other headlines that is coming up as we continue to say you can join us every Wednesday between the hours of 11 a.m. where we look and discuss everything pertaining to the issues affecting Nigerians at home and likewise Nigerians outside the country as well. So these are some of the other headlines that we have for those of our listeners. Security agents aiding bandits, alleged rapes, demand NSA minister sacking. Again, still in terms of security. The National Assembly to pass Buhari's reverse 2022 fiscal framework today. Oyo Court remand man for beating thief to death. I will be courageous, as Nigerian president says Tinubu. Also, one killed as gunmen attack Anambra police station. That is some of the headline that is coming, this morning. So we're going to quickly look at some of the other headline as well. Then I'm going to come back, go straight maybe to the social media where there's quite a lot, conversation, going on the social media as well. But the most important thing, like we always say to all our listeners, is you can follow us on all our social media handles. You can engage with us. And this is Starr Radio UK. It is the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. So some of the other headlines before we go on the social media this morning at 11:41. 1 week after the marathon meeting with the leaders of the Nigerian security team, the House of Representatives yesterday lamented rising insecurity in several parts of the country, especially in Kaduna, and they are now demanding the sack of the NSA defense minister, according to the reg. FEC, that means the Federal Executive Council approved 1.4 billion naira for power sector as Buhari swears in the NPC and ICPC commission. Also, we go straight to the social media, which there's quite a lot of engagement happening there. As we speak, Peter Obi is trending at number 3 this morning. We know Peter Obi also wants to be, the president of Nigeria. But let's go straight to Ilana UK at UK_Ilana. And this is what is coming out from them this morning. The Olubadan of Ibadan, Obalekan Balogun, has assured activists that Yoruba agitation for self-determination is achievable in spite of various challenges, militanting against the realization of the set goal. So this is coming from the Olubadan, and that is also been posted by Ilana UK as well. Also, at some of the other news coming from Nigeria this morning, quite a lot of people, #EndSARS, as revealed by Gislover. She's now working for APC Tinubu. This is one particular woman known as Adeton. I listened to the video myself yesterday, and she has always been a very outspoken against the government. But yesterday, I believe one of her video, she has literally said the scammer that we know. She's literally pointing it to Tinubu, that we don't know his real age, we don't know how his wealth is, we don't know so many things she talked about, and says that we're better to keep the scammer we know than the scammer that we don't know, which is like the pastor Yemi Osibajo, the vice president, and the others that are contesting as well. So that has become a backlash to her, with a lot of comments that are now saying it looks like she's now working for the APC. And that video was not that video was also from outside Nigeria as well. So this morning, when we look at Nigeria as a whole on Twitter, quite a lot of conversation. Biafrans, according to Bruce Fain, Biafrans are not seeking secession from Nigeria because they never voted accession. Their right to self-determination voted is secured by Article 1 of the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, and imperative of the government by the consent of the governed. Also, Chinasa Inwuru, here is the 60 million ransom to be paid to free some victims from the hands of the Fulani bandit in Kaduna State, and all the one Nigerians are keeping quiet. Yesterday, there was an intercept from the Nigerian security of the money to the tune of 60 million naira that was meant to be taken to the terrorists, to secure somebody that they've already kidnapped. So you can imagine there's so much, how many that must have gone through like that nobody would have stopped them. Again, Buhari Osibajo hiding under immunity as massive looting continuing in Nigeria. This is coming from the U.S. government. And Henry Shield, no one has been sacked for the importation of the adulterated fuel into Nigeria. Buhari only has the strength against peaceful protesters. This is how we're going to bring it back to you in the studio. And this is again Starr Radio UK. It is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. I would like today to apologize to some of our listeners with the break-up in transmission during the program this morning.
Yes, listeners, once again, we want to reiterate our apologies to you wherever you are during the break, during the first part of the program. But let me acknowledge a couple of people from here. Olayomi Tosino says 3,000 people have been killed in Nigeria in 3 months. He's looking at it and equating it with what is happening in Nigeria. He says that, well, terrorists, bandits, headers, and Boko Haram had killed more people in Nigeria than in war-torn Ukraine. That's why Mayo has put it. And the world nations are looking away. It is because their interest is in Nigeria. That's the question he's asking. Mayo says more people killed than Ukraine, and they died. Okay. There is no even war in Nigeria, really. Now, Tosino says only solution to Nigeria's problem. Nigeria need referendum, not election. That's the only solution to the Nigerian problem. Now, who is adding the terrorists? Or, my apologies, who is aiding the terrorists? The government, the masses, or the politicians? Who? He's asking that question. Maybe if somebody knows the answer, ask the other professor who, outspoken man who died, said, well, he thinks that there are some big hooks.
Obadia.
Yes, Obadia, who was saying that he knows that there were some big hooks in there who might have been supporting these perpetrators of this evil in doing whatever they are doing. But it's Starr Radio UK, 11:43, 11:50 the time. We'll be bringing the update to a close in a moment. But one story that is making the round is the death of this musician, this gospel musician, Archie, who it looks like people who want to talk about it, but I'm looking at the women's rights in Nigeria as a whole. I mean, briefly, I know that we don't have the time for it, but briefly, women's rights there and protection for women. What has the state or the federal government itself, has there been any response from them pertaining to gender and equality? What has happened there?
It is so sad that she had to die, because she shouldn't have died in the first place. If the right thing and the right people have done the needful quickly, to secure her. That, I believe, is one of the gospel singer that you're talking about.
Yeah.
That was allegation that she was killed by the husband. Late Osinachi Inwachuku pastor Paul Enche break his silence days after her passing, and this is what he has to say.
Who is a kingdom asset and a generational asset to this generation. In the light of so much misinformation, in the light of so much misconstruction of events, I decided to set straight what I know concerning the situation. Over 2.5 months to 3 months ago, she came to see me with her husband with complaints of chest pain, respiratory distress. I prayed for her and prayed again. And when the symptoms did not abate.
So what he's actually saying is he had no idea that there was a kind of
abuse
yeah, from the husband to these individual, the late singer that have died. He went on to pray, the church is not yet your place for transfer of aggression. We're willing to help, because a lot of people are still complaining that.
Okay, listeners, just bear with us. I think we have a connectivity issue from Mr. Olayomi for a cake's place. It's unfortunate. Okay, now I've got him. We got him back. Let's see. Yes.
The husband went back, to the church even after the allegation. The question then again is, what more can the government do, and what more can the society do? The way say because we don't want to break up in marriage and then allow our women to continue to stay in an abusive marriage, and that goes vice versa as well? Or is it a society that is putting pressure on individuals? Because what people were saying is that, from what I've heard, that if she has left the husband, it is the same society that will have criticized her for leaving a marriage.
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad, but we hope that postmortem will be done, and I mean, we will have a proper postmortem done from a very credible source, and then we will lay everybody's mind at rest. If the man didn't do it, fine, but if he did, well. But Yomi, before you go, I know you are pressed for time now. Before you go,
it says stay tuned to Starr Radio UK. Again, same time tomorrow, Good Friday tomorrow. We'll be back again Monday, God willing, for more update from Nigeria. And I say thank you so much to all our listeners again this morning.
Okay. Yomi, have a lovely afternoon, lovely day, and then we'll catch up later.
Bye for now.
Bye. Well, listeners, that was Mr. Olayomi Koiki. I apologize for any breaking transmission during that time. When it comes to technology, at times things do happen. But let's take a quick break, and then we come back and have a look at some of the other stories making the rounds. As I said earlier on, there are a few issues that is making the rounds here in the UK and other parts of the world. Topmost on that. Well, there are floods in South Africa. What result? What has been done about it? In the UK as well. The UK government is to give asylum seekers one-way ticket to Rwanda. Well, they've agreed. The UK government has agreed on some asylum seekers who arrive in the UK on small boats across the channel will be given a one-way ticket to Rwanda under new government plans. Now, Home Secretary Priti Patel is in the African nation to agree a 120 million trial involving mostly single men arriving in Britain on boats or lorries. Now, Prime Minister Boris Johnson said the scheme was needed to save countless lives from human trafficking. So we'll be bringing you more on that front. I want to know your take on it. Well, they say it's going to be more of the men. So, do you think that is good enough? How would you feel if they do such to you? Is it a ploy just to, with the Partygate and the fines and the calling by the public that the Prime Minister should resign and stuff like that? Maybe people are looking at it that, hey, it's not time to just... Some Ghanaians will say some hanya just to cover up things so that people's attention will be, drawn from what is going on there. Maybe the Prime Minister want to appease his supporters that, this is what you wanted all along. That's why we brought in Brexit. So we do something like this for you, and then yes, they will be happy about it. Is that what is going on? I want to know your take on that. It is Starr Radio UK. So let's take a quick break. We come back. And I will announce the lines open as well. Stay tuned, don't you go away. Starr, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medase.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time down to almost 12 o'clock. So let me announce the lines open wherever you are. If you want to make a case or suggestion or talk about anything there. Okay. It is 0208-133-2257 or 580208-133-2257 or 58. If you happen to be in the US, Canada, or the Caribbean area, it's 001-718-303-2737 001-718-303-2737. And also you can text or WhatsApp us. It's 075-39661744 075-39661744. Now, if you want to tweet at us, yes, you can do so. Those of you on Twitter watching us as well, our Twitter handle is Starr Radio UK and our email address is info@starradiouk.com. Whatever it is, get in touch with us and let us know what you think about the issues. Okay. Now, let's crack on to some stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. Let's touch on some still making the rounds on the African continent and then we move on. Now, when it comes to Ghana, well, the Supreme Court has ruled, and that is causing lots of pushing and shoving and well, as I said, the Senate MP had prevented from performing parliamentary duties. The Supreme Court ruled in a 5-2 decision. This enforces the High Court decision in July 2021. Professor Stephen Kweku-Asare, a fellow in public law and justice at the CDD Ghana and the KPMG, professor in accounting at the Fisher School of Accounting, has stated that there is a lot of procedural confusion in the 5-2 Supreme Court ruling, injuncting the Assin-North Member of Parliament from performing his parliamentary duties. He said the Cape Coast High Court had no basis for granting the earlier injunction which has been enforced by the Supreme Court. The Kweku-Asare, as known, popularly explained that in granting the injunction, the High Court has sought to interpret Article 94, subsection 2, an action which is the reserve of the Supreme Court, and had further added timelines to the article. He argued that the Apex Court assenting to the injunction only served as a stamp of approval to the judicial error, which now has left the Assin-North people unrepresented in Parliament, and there is no solution in the lacuna created as a result of the injunction in Parliament. There is this injunction because the plaintiff has issued a writ at the Supreme Court asking for the interpretation of Article 94, subsection 2, subsection A. The plaintiff is saying he doesn't understand Article 94, subsection 2, subsection A, as so the Supreme Court should help him understand that. But there is a judge somewhere in Cape Coast who has interpreted Article 94, subsection 2, subsection A, and told the plaintiff, hey, plaintiff, I am going to grant you all your reliefs. And the Supreme Court is sitting there saying, well, yes, we don't understand Article 94, subsection 2A, but we're going to interpret it. Well, I'll be bringing you more on that. I want to have your take on that. So now we have the Assin-North not having a rep in Parliament. Somebody say, well, there have been other constituents constituencies that have not got reps. Which one am I talking about? The South area. We're going for an election. Well, they told them, oh, you're going to be voting. The next moment, it was 24 hours before the time. They said, no. You can only vote for the presidency, but not for your representative. Because they have not carved out anything for them. Now, going back to this, I said not MP. The question is, who was supposed to have done diligence to the search to make sure that this person had not got dual citizenship? And I'm going to talk about a by-election, which some of them are calling for, saying that, oh, they can see a by-election is looming. We have the de facto prime minister who is saying so as well. But the question, once again, is it going to be a free and fair? Few times that we've had elections of that sort, you know what has happened? You don't really want to know. You know what happened? Well, it happened that they came in with the military. Is it Talency? There was one Talency, and there was is it the Legon one? What was the name of that one as well? So you see the military presence or the macho presence at that place intimidating people, and therefore they could not even get around to vote. Now, is it going to be that this man, that's not MP, who has been suspended, will be given the opportunity to now contest for his position again, now that he has renounced? Let's put it that way. That maybe earlier on, before he took the bait to run for that particular constituency, he had not denounced it, which the electoral commission was supposed to have seen to. What do you think about all that? I want to have your take on that. And what is it going to be? How is it going to be interpreted if in the democracy that Ghana is running at the moment? How is it going to be running there? Well, it is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, other people are supporting the move. Okay? We'll be looking into that. I am being persecuted. I wasn't part of the procurement committee, Ghana Law School, as I should say. But with my position on e-levy immaterial, Boako is saying. These are some of the stories making the rounds in Ghana. But like I said earlier on, we'll be looking into that. The lines are open. You want to make your take? Bring it on, and we will listen to you on those fronts. But let's quickly now move on to other parts of the world and look at some of the stories. Now, still on the African continent, in Kenya, well, the French CEO is facing deportation amid Kenya fuel crisis. Now, what has actually happened there? Now, interestingly, oil firms blame government for delaying subsidy payment. Now, South Africa, okay, that is pertaining to Kenya, but let me bring you more on that front before we talk about Rwanda. Okay. Just bear with me. I'm trying to get all the stories that is making the rounds on the African continent lined up. A bit slow. Okay, I got it. Now, the Kenyan authorities have reportedly cancelled the work permit of a French chief executive of one of the biggest oil marketers in Kenya amid a fuel shortage crisis. The government is said to have ordered the deportation of Christian Begeron, the chief executive of Ruby's Energy Kenya, a subsidiary of France-based Ruby's Group. The energy regulator had on Tuesday accused some oil marketers of withholding a supply of fuel to local markets and prioritizing exports to neighboring countries. The regulator said these companies will be punished by restricting the volumes of fuel they will be allowed to import for the next 3 months. Now, Kenya fuel companies sell about 65% of their imports to the local market and the rest to neighboring landlocked Uganda, Rwanda, and the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Now, it says Kenyan fuel companies sell about 65% of their imports to the local market and the rest to neighboring countries. Now, there has been a major shortage of the commodity in recent weeks across the country, with long queues forming in pump stations. Now, Kenyan authorities say there is enough stock in a storage facility. There is speculation that some marketers have been hoarding fuel in anticipation of a price increase on Thursday, when the regulator reviews prices for the next month. Now, experts say the current crisis in Kenya has been caused by a delay in disbursing fuel subsidy owed to oil marketers. Now, Kenya subsidies fuel prices to cushion consumers from higher fuel pump prices. Now, so why is this man being chased out of the country? But oil marketers have been complaining of delays by government to compensate them for the government subsidized prices they charge consumers. The government released some of the delayed payments last week. Well, because they said we're not getting all the monies from government, then we decided we are also going to be locking the whole thing down. Well, in Ghana, still, at least 8 people have been killed and a number of others injured after gunmen attacked Zokoli village in the northeastern part of Ghana. Now, some houses were also destroyed in the attack. The police say they are investigating the incident. The motive of the attack is unclear, but the region faces security problems, including armed robbery and communal tension. The attack happened barely a week after Ghana's security minister said security alert levels had been increased due to the possibility of what he called terrorist activities or attacks. Now, this is partly because of worsening violence by militants in neighboring countries. This is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK and updates from other parts of the world. And then moving on straight, some of Somalia's new elected members of parliament are set to be sworn in on Thursday, that's today, in the capital, Mogadishu, following parliamentary election that took months. Now, they will be sworn in at a venue inside the main airport area, one of the highly guarded areas in the capital, as security remains a key concern. The 11th parliament comprises 2 main houses, the upper house with 54 members of the People's House and the People's House with 275. Their main task will be to elect president who will be expected to lead the Horn of Africa nation for the next 4 years. The swearing in also marks a crucial step for the election process dogged by conflicts and political infighting between key stakeholders, leading to the election being postponed and several times. The current president, Muhammadu Abdullahi Farmajo, whose first term ended in February last year, continued to stay in power to avoid a political vacuum. It took the intervention of Somalia's partners for the process to be hastened. The U.S. imposed visa restrictions on some key players accused of sabotaging the election process. And Somalia had no stability for over 30 years since the former military leader, Said Barre, was toppled in 1991, followed by a bloody civil war. However, a lot has changed in the last 2 decades as the country embarks on recovery. Now, this all coming away from Starr Radio UK. These are our updates from across the globe, and this around looking at Africa. Arrests over looting in flood-ravaged South Africa. Now, police in South Africa have arrested at least 12 people over looting of business premises in the flood-hit coastal province of KwaZulu-Natal, local outlets report. Now, videos of looters raiding supermarkets have been circulated among social media users in the country. On Tuesday, KwaZulu-Natal's premier condemned reports of looting of shipping containers which had washed up to a major highway following the heavy rains. Now, Shihele Sikala warned that criminals will not be allowed to take advantage of the havoc. It's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, Mali frees German NGO workers held over terrorism. Mali has released 3 Germans who were arrested by the army on Sunday and labeled as terrorism suspects. Now, Germany's foreign ministry has said The two men and a woman were German workers of a non-governmental organization. They were arrested as part of an anti-terrorist operation near Diabali in the central Shegu region, where attacks by armed groups were or are uncommon. They were in the area for an agricultural project as part of an arrangement between German and Malian authorities, diplomatic and security sources have said. Their presence there has raised concerns since it were the Malian army and its Russian instructors were accused of committing atrocities last month. They were transferred to the capital Bamako before they are being released. Their release came amid a visit by Germany's foreign minister who has been in Mali since Tuesday. And it's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's take a quick break, and once we come back, we'll be looking at some of the stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. What about that? Stay tuned and don't you go away.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7. Work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
Pull him down. MSc in kill your donkey. The problem of Africa is they leave. Africa. Who run things, who run things, who run things. The problem of Africa is they leave. Africa. Who run things, who run things, African is capable of managing his own affairs. That the African is capable of managing his own affairs. We have let Nkrumah down badly, disgraced him in the eyes of...
Well, something from the Zongo man himself. He says the problem of Africa. What do you think is the problem of Africa? Is it the greed as well? You know, we are all, I mean, you talk about people who are knowledgeable, who are well educated, and what? Rich, you know, we got people, I mean, name it, and we got it. But what do we see? Or how do we see ourselves?
The problem of Africa is the...
You can add your voice to the discussions this afternoon, wherever you might be. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. I remain yours sincerely, the one and only Archie here. And moving on straight to other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world as well. Now, the police have arrested a suspect in New York subway shooting. Now, they say, we got him, the city's mayor, following the huge manhunt sparked by the Brooklyn shooting. But the sad thing is that he's one of us and is quite worrying. Now, what actually brought about this action by this man? Now, the police in New York City have arrested a man suspected of shooting 10 commuters in a rush hour attack at Brooklyn subway station. Now, Frank James, 62, is alleged to have donned a construction worker's helmet, vest, and a gas mask before throwing smoke grenades and opening fire. A massive 30-hour manhunt was launched in the wake of the attack. Mr. James was taken into custody on Wednesday afternoon in Manhattan after police received a tip-off, they said. Now, my fellow New Yorkers, we got him, Mayor Eric Adams said via video during news conference. Now, officials said Mr. James was the sole suspect in the shooting at the Brooklyn 36th Street station on a Tuesday morning, in which 23 people were wounded, 10 of them from gunfire. The attack renewed calls to address violence in the city's transit system. Now, Keishan Sewell, New York's police commissioner, said that Mr. James was arrested without incident. There was there was nowhere left for him to run, she said. Now, please do not answer questions about the individual who called in the tip, though the Associated Press and the CNN are reporting the suspect was the one who tipped off police to his location in Lower Manhattan. So why did he give a tip-off to that? Now, Mr. James will be charged on several counts, atrocities said, including the violation of a federal law which prohibits terrorists and other violent attacks against mass transit system. He could face life in prison if found guilty. But he had 9 prior arrests, police said, and he had ties to Ohio, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey. The search for Mr. James was complicated by malfunctioning cameras inside the subway station. Officials on Wednesday were working to determine whether one or multiple cameras at the station were broken, or was it a deliberate plot. I mean, you know, when you watch, most of the time I like watching all this crime series on telly, and I look into those things. Did he manage to get in there for somebody to turn off those cameras, or what exactly took place there? And he said, so what exactly is happening? Is he sane? Mentally? Is he okay there? What pushed him to do that? Well, it's all Starr Radio UK. 12:22 the time. The morning show, the program. I am Archie. Now, quickly, also moving on to other parts of the world as well. Now, Biden is accusing Russia of genocide, as we all know. During a speech about surging inflation on Tuesday, U.S. President Joe Biden appeared to accuse Russia's Vladimir Putin of genocide. The Biden administration has previously stopped short of describing civilian killings in Ukraine as a genocide, but he accused Mr. Putin of war crimes. The White House is seeking to pin the blame for rising consumer prices of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, although American inflation predates the war. And the same here in other parts of the world as well. So if people are saying, you know what, it's a Russia's invasion of Ukraine that has caused all this, and people are asking, is that true or not? Now, what do you think about that? I would love to have your take on that. It's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. Well, Brazil is also saying that Russia war is threatening Brazilian indigenous land. Why? Have they thrown a bomb there? Now, President Bolsonaro says the invasion of Ukraine presents an opportunity to mine Amazon territories. Why? Meanwhile, you know what? When it comes to the Amazon, we're talking about the rainforest there. That it forms a larger percentage of the whole world's rainforest that captures the carbon in the atmosphere so that we can get all this environmental community that goes on. But Mauricio Kawana worries about the future. He comes from the community of Oris, and then the story says, okay, the area, part of the Yanomami indigenous territory, is rich in gold, diamonds, and minerals. And illegal miners want a piece of it. You know, there are an estimated 20,000 illegal miners on that land. It's got worse in the past few years, Mauricio says, explaining that during the pandemic, the number of planes, helicopters, and boats linked to illegal mining increased. He's only 35, but it's a younger generation that concerns him. Boys increasingly being lured into the illegal work. Now, you know, in Ghana, we have that, they name it, they call it galamsey. Now, this galamsey, that's where it's not regulated, and therefore, people just dig. They finish, I mean, they just destroy the water bodies, the lands, I mean, dig, cut trees down, pull trees down, and whatever thing that they want to do, and then poops, they are gone. But the president seems to be encouraging such action to take place because I think that because of the war that is happening in Ukraine, so he thinks that is a good thing to say. But President Jair Bolsonaro has made his mission to push economic development in the Amazon. In his latest attempt to make inroads into indigenous territories, he has cited the war in Ukraine. Brazil relies heavily on the imported fertilizer for its agribusiness industry. More than 90% of it, fertilizers, come from abroad. And Russia is its most important partner. A good opportunity arose for us, Mr. Bolsonaro said of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. He has argued that by mining in the indigenous territories, Brazil can build more of its own potassium reserves. It's an argument questioned by some experts. Now, that's what he's saying there. Now, if they go on to destroy the rainforest there, do you know its impact? Here in the UK, you know what the leaders are saying? People, this environmental community people are saying, you know, they was it this week? Oh, yes, this week and last week. They've been to refineries and oil companies. They're sitting there blocking the transportation, the transporting of fuel to various filling stations for us to all be able to go about our duties. And they think that, well, that is all right. That is all right. Okay, and I mean the high prices and the energy costs and the renewed energy or whatever they call it, and all those bits, which is quite, I mean, upping the stakes so that you look at the price for energy and you think, whoa, how am I going to get the money for? I've been saying all this while that look, we have to exist first before we can plan for tomorrow. Because if I'm going to die today, I mean, touch wood, I'm not going to die. But if I'm going to die today, what do I plan for tomorrow? Is it my funeral or what? Well, let's look at that as the days go by. But it's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Some stories from the Latin American area. 12:27 the time. The program will be brought to a close exactly at 1 o'clock. But this afternoon, exactly at 6 o'clock, my apologies, we'll bring a repeat broadcast of BB Means Business there. And then at 7 o'clock, KP Bossman Vicky Newton will be coming your way with the property hour. And today I'm sure they're having a special guest in the house. Okay, and they're talking about post-COVID energy bills. HMO landlords doing all bills inclusive tomorrow night. The Stella will be answering your questions on Starr Radio UK. So the Stella will be answering those questions, but it will be hosted by the one and only Vicky New thing. So make a date. Well, if you're a landlord, what do you think is the way forward for you? Now that bills are going up, are you going to be increasing, or somebody say hiking the price of the rental, or what? It'll be interesting to know what you're going to be doing. All right then. Well, it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, now let's move on to some other stories making the rounds. Now, back in the day, before the COVID started, we had the Zika virus that was roaming and making lots of rounds there. Now, Zika virus may be one step away from explosive outbreak. So, it is a virus that causes the heads of little babies to then the top of their head becomes smaller and stuff. Okay, a new outbreak of Zika virus is quite possible, warn researchers, with a single mutation potentially enough to trigger an explosive spread. The disease caused a global medical emergency in 2016, with thousands of babies born brain damage after their moms became infected while pregnant. Now, US scientists say the world should be on the lookout for new mutations. Now, lab work described in the journal Cells reports suggests that the virus could easily shift, creating new variants. Now, recent infection studies suggest those variants may prove effective at transmitting the virus, even in the countries in which have built an immunity from previous outbreak of Zika, say the team from the La Jolla Institute of Immunology. Now, experts said the findings, although theoretical, were interesting and a reminder that viruses other than COVID could pose a threat. Now, we finished with COVID. We've not finished with COVID because we know that lots of things going on when it comes to COVID. But well, we still have COVID gone down a bit. Is it? Our health experts are saying that look, hospitalization has gone up and all stuff, but it's not as bad as we saw during the outbreak in early part of 2020. Yeah. So it's now 2 years almost. Well, it is Starr Radio. Is it 2020 or 2021? Yeah, 2020. Yeah. Okay. Now let's move on to other parts of the world and look at some of the stories making the rounds there as well. Now, Palestinian death bound as Israel tensions spur. Now, 5 are killed in 24 hours as Israel carries out sweeps in the West Bank after deadly attacks. Well, you ask them and they will also tell you that they are trying to make themselves or get themselves safe when it comes to security issues. But what do you think is happening there? Let me say good afternoon to Mr. Kofi Ali Abdul Yakin as well for joining in and watching us live on the Facebook as well. So on that story, the story says that, well, 5 Palestinians have been killed in past 24 hours amid operations by Israel to crack down on militants after a spate of deadly attacks on Israelis. The Palestinians say 2 youths were killed in the north-occupied West Bank on Thursday during an Israeli raid. On Wednesday, a teenager and a lawyer were among 3 shot dead elsewhere in the West Bank as tensions soared. Now, Israeli forces stepped up operations after a Palestinian killed 2 Israelis at a bar in Tel Aviv last week. Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett said at a time that the security forces will be given full freedom of action in order to defeat the terror, though he did not specify what that meant. Is that it? Well, it is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, Finland has decided is to decide to either join NATO in weeks. That's what the Finland Prime Minister is saying. Okay. The Finnish Prime Minister Sanna Marin says her country will decide whether to apply to join NATO within weeks. She said she saw no reason to delay the decision at a joint news conference alongside Sweden's Prime Minister. Her comments coincides with a report to the Finnish Parliament that said membership of the bloc could result in increased tensions on the border between Finland and Russia. Moscow has warned Finland and Sweden against joining NATO in recent weeks. Now, Finland and Sweden are militarily non-aligned but Russia invasion of Ukraine has prompted increasing public support to become members of the Western Defensive Alliance. The Swedish leader Magdalena Andersson told reporters that the same very serious analysis was taking place as in Finland, and she saw no point in delaying it. Now, Swedish newspaper Svenska Dagbladet reported on Wednesday that Miss Anderson was aiming to apply for membership in time for a NATO summit in late June. Now, Finland shares 1,340 kilometers border, or 830 miles border with Russia and Kremlin. With Russia and Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov has stressed that Moscow will have to rebalance the situation with its own measures if NATO bid went ahead. So, what measures is he talking about there, or is the Russians talking about there? Is it another measure like what is happening in Ukraine at the moment? I mean, clear the whole place, take over some of the territory, and say this is a buffer zone. So, okay, what is going to happen? Well, interestingly, in the war that is taking place, Ukraine has unleashed a venom against the Russians, this time around hitting one of the Russian warships. Well, we've not had it sunk or totally destroyed, but a bit of damage there. Russian Defense Ministry says the flagship vessel of its Black Sea fleet is seriously damaged. They say a fire caused ammunition on the Moskva to explode, but that it is still afloat. As I said, the crew have been evacuated and the cruiser will be towed to port. Ukraine says they hit it with 2 missiles, but this has not been confirmed. Now everybody wants to, blow their horns, isn't it? Well, but as whether that is true or not, a short while ago we heard from the Russian military who says Moskva is still afloat. Now the Ukrainian military claims that the Russian flagship started sinking after it was hit with Neptune missiles. Now, posting on this Facebook page, the Saudi military command says the vessel suffered significant damage and a fire started after the strike. Russian rescue ships were then hampered by ammunition exploding on board, as well as bad weather that overturned the cruiser and it began to sink, it adds. Now, has that ruffled the feathers of Putin? And what is going to be his next move? What do you think? It is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, now let's move on to the UK front. Let's have a look at some of the story that's making the rounds here. Now, if you are listening to us from France or Europe or the African continent, then you wish you travel to the UK, but not coming through the usual channels, okay? Going to the UK High Commission or the embassy, whichever is applicable, and then applying for it, and how many times that you be turned down, and then blah blah blah, and then you decide, okay, this time around, let me come through the desert. Come through Libya or Algeria, cross the sea, get to cross the Mediterranean and get to maybe Italy or Greece somewhere, and then walk down and cross over and get to France, and then try to cross the channel to the UK. This is what they are saying now. Quite interesting. Now, information came out that this had been leaked yesterday. And I know, normally Frank will tell me that, no, when they say they've leaked something, be rest assured that it wasn't leaked. But what had happened was that they want to test the waters, and therefore they brought it up. But the other question that people have been asking this morning is that, is it a deliberate ploy to divert attention because of the Partygate issue that is going on in the country at the moment? What do you think? Now, some asylum seekers who cross the channel to the UK will be given a one-way ticket to Rwanda under new government plans. The trial will involve mostly single men arriving on boats, on lorries. Now, Prime Minister Boris Johnson said £120 million scheme would save countless lives from human trafficking. The refugee organizations have criticized the plan as cruel, question its cost and efficacy, and raise concerns about Rwanda's human rights record. Now, so we're talking about some people asking of Rwanda's human rights record. When it comes to the human rights of records of Rwanda, how do we say it? And then, interestingly, there's something that's been going on in my mind. When you have leaders who have strong hands, who will crack the whip. I mean, I know that no system is perfect. Okay, now we talk about South Korea and General Park. At the time, he was a military leader, and how he flexed his muscle and tried to move majority of the people behind him, and therefore managed to achieve what they've achieved. So we have Rwanda that has become a light when it comes to the African continent. So you go to Rwanda today, you look at their streets, you look at everything that was going on. I remember when the COVID hit, and then Rwanda, they had public places, they had stand pipes. They installed it there. They put up some there, mobile ones there, and people can just wash their hands, and they were doing everything possible. So I didn't know. I'm not sure of how much of infection of the COVID that took place there. I'm not sure about that. I'm not going to statistics from the top of my head. However, you look at the system and the way the Rwandan leader has fashioned the country, and things seem to be ticking along nicely. My question is, at what point do we tell leaders that you are infringing on people's human rights when they are seen and doing their best to see to the development of the nation? Let me go back to Ghana. Now, when Ghana attained independence, now we had opposition parties who didn't like the idea. We had the then president, the first president of Ghana, Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, who some were saying was wielding the iron fist and cracking down on opposition. I mean, we know that at a point it became a one-party state. Now, if you don't have somebody or a system, though democratic, but having the leader strong-headed, heavy-handed, and making sure that, look, this is what we have to do, and pushing the agenda for that thing to be done, and then we have to bring everything and put it just on the table, and then discuss, and opposition all the time. I remember a friend of mine who was passed a long time ago, and he would say, Nadesia, may his soul rest in perfect peace. He said he is an opposition leader, and I said, so anything that you put across, he want to oppose it. And I said, you don't oppose for opposing sake. You don't just do that. So we see in Africa or on the African continent, people opposing for opposing sake. That's what I'm talking about. And when even that is happening, how do you get the agenda through? Developmental projects, policies, how do you get them all through? Are you catching my drift? And therefore, it's very, very imperative, very, very important that some leaders strong hands. Now let's come to the Rwanda issue. Now we have the Rwandans who have a stronger deal with the UK, where they're going to be, bringing refugees or taking refugees there for them to apply for their asylum. Refugee organizations have criticized the plan as cruel, question its cause and efficacy, and raise concerns about Rwanda's human rights record. Is it that when those people are taken to Rwanda, they're going to be let out free, roam about in the country, or are they going to be at a detention center? What is going to happen there? Now, in a speech in Kent, Mr. Johnson argued actions was needed to stop vile people, smugglers, turning the ocean into a watery graveyard, adding the humane and compassionate plan was designed to break the business model. Now, he said he wanted to make clear to people arriving on the Kent coast they were better off taking legal routes, and that the new plan will over time prove a very considerable deterrent. Now, last year, 28,526 people are known to have crossed in small boats, up from the 8,404 in 2020. It is all coming away from Starr Radio UK. So what is your take on that? 18 minutes to the top of the hour. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. I've got Mr. Kofi Ali who has joined me. Let me cross over to him. Kofi, good afternoon to you.
Hello, good afternoon, sir. How are you?
I'm doing very, very well, apart from my clogged nose, but I'm plodding on, as Felix will say. How are you too?
Not very bad.
Good.
Good afternoon to Felix. So, Kojo, and to my good brother Frank.
Oh, okay.
And to your good self in the studio.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
First of all, I need to make certain things a bit slightly clear.
Okay.
Good. The refugee issue that is in front of us, the way we are looking at it sometimes, it's a bit challenging. See, the principles of refugee is based on one thing, that when your neighbor's house is on fire,
in 800 meters,
naturally your neighbor will run out. Is that not true?
Of course.
When they run out, what do? You give them a help.
Accommodate them, yeah.
It's based on the principles of we are all hardworking brothers. Naturally, everyone will want to live in their own house.
Of course, of course.
Nobody want to be skiving and fooling around. And the day his house is on fire, he want to go to his neighbor's house. Stay there and stay there for good. And therefore, the problem that is not doing anything to have a home that he'll be longing to die in whatever happens.
Yeah.
Down there crying because their house is on fire. Even you want to go and with your family and say, let us go and pack their baggage and bring it to our place because these people will go tomorrow. They, you can see, you can share the pains.
Yeah.
Can you see the principle?
Yeah.
Everyone wants to help those who are ready to help themselves.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Nobody wants a kind of people who will come into their house and be lying down and put their leg on the table and tell
making
you
a mess.
If you are not careful, they will drive you out of your house. This is the reason why when certain countries have problems, you see how the world and everyone rally around that will give these people help because these people are capable of helping us to when we are in trouble.
Okay.
Whereas there are some people who even pray for the mess to happen because where they come from, they are just looking for it.
Hello, Kofi.
Hello.
Yes. Kojo, hold on. We'll come to you, please. All right.
They will wish. You understand?
Yeah.
Now, the issue of now people, everybody, we know when we go to another country, we are not going back. Even when we are going as let me allow Kojo to talk.
Okay, let's get Kojo and then let's see once Philip Kofi is okay. Yes, Kojo.
After I left the call,
Hello, Kojo.
My booking.
Hello, Kojo.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, please go, bring your submission, please. Kofi's line.
What I wanted to say. Yeah. I mean, Frank's girlfriend, Pretty Patel. Frank is not here. Look, they want to redefine the whole refugee definition as stated by the United Nations Refugee Council.
Yeah.
And what has been always the agreed norm of how refugees should be treated. They are completely redefining it.
Okay.
And the problem we have is when you rewrite the accepted norms or what has always been the case, nobody challenges it. It becomes a template for others
to also follow. Yeah.
Yes. So let's go back a few years and let's see what Australia did.
Yeah.
With Papua New Guinea. Nobody actually challenged it. And that now has become the template that the UK government is looking at. Because Australia was moving the refugees to those islands in Papua New Guinea.
Yeah.
And that in itself was a challenge to the normal residents within those countries, where the normal residents saw the state of the refugees who look as if they were being treated better than the state of their own citizens who were not. Yeah, and that created a kind of animosity between the host nation
and the refugees
and the newcomers, and nobody challenged that, although that was an illegality or which Australia would not accept, or redefining what the refugee convention is. Nobody challenged it, and it carried on. So now the UK government has looked at that, nobody challenged it, we can also do the same. And we're talking about not only the UK government doing it, now Denmark has also passed a law to do the same.
Wow.
So where is it going to stop? Which other European country are we going to see doing that? And some of these problems that have been created in some of these countries where the refugees are coming from, we know it's the making of Western governments.
Yeah. They're going to destabilize those countries, and the people come to you, and then you say, we won't let you come.
Now you don't want them. You want to go and throw them back into African countries, because maybe some of the people are coming from North Africa, where you think, North Africa, the culture is similar to, they are coming from Libya. The culture is similar to another African country. So you go and put it there. And just watch exactly what the language is. They are talking about men.
Yeah.
The men who are crossing a single man who are crossing. So if I want to be a refugee in Europe, then I have to marry.
Or you have to be transgender. You have to change your sex and become a woman.
So bizarre. I mean, so if I marry and I'm crossing with my wife,
you have some sympathy.
We will be guaranteed. Yeah, we will be guaranteed a sanctuary, a wife and a child. We will be guaranteed a sanctuary in Europe. But if I come as a single man, given that the culture of most of African countries is such that the
man is the breadwinner, and therefore is the one who has to go out.
Yeah, and they don't understand a lot of the way the culture works within some of these countries. So you go to these Islamic countries, mainly Syria. I mean, in all the Islamic countries, men are the main breadwinners.
Yeah.
So if you have these men coming across, it's not because they are just single men seeking economic refuge. I mean, it's both. The men are seen as the people who look after the family, so they have to actually get out. So you look at Saudi Arabia. If something should happen in Saudi Arabia today, is it the women who are going to get out? No, it's going to be the men.
The men, yeah.
And it is the same, under that same pretext, it is the same thing that happens to Syria and Libya and all those destabilized countries like Yemen, who are mostly Muslim people who are moving across.
Yeah.
Are they going to apply the same template to people moving from Eastern Europe, like Albania, like
Ukraine, even at the moment? I mean,
Ukraine. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Like Ukraine, are they going to put? But because currently the template with Ukraine or the rule book they are applying with Ukraine is that the Ukrainian government is not allowing men to leave the country. But I can tell you today, some of the men, when they have the chance, they will leave.
They will leave. Some have left. They said they need to fend for their family, so they've left with them.
Exactly. Some went through back route channels and went through unauthorized border crossings.
Yeah.
To places like Moldova, the Czech Republic, Hungary, and Romania. Some have gone through back route channels. But if you're going to go through the main crossing channel, you'll be barred from going across.
Yeah. But what do you say about say about this these traffickers or the smugglers thing? Because they are saying that, look, we are doing all this to stop the smugglers from that business, which we know that people are exploiting whatever is happening there. I mean if they don't do, what action can they do to stop that?
They can't do anything. They say they want to the business plan of human traffickers.
Yeah.
the human traffickers will find another way of coming. Look, when they get into that boat that they launch from the shores of France
yeah,
to the UK, the human trafficker doesn't sit in that dinghy.
No, at all. He's just giving to you, he's taking his money. He said, okay, Otilo, go.
He takes his money and he's gone. And the people who sit in the dinghy are the people who want to cross. And unfortunately, whoever steers the dinghy will be prosecuted. Is that fair? So what is happening now? The people also know. Look, the traffickers have told them that when you sit in the dinghy, don't steer the dinghy. Don't be the leader in the dinghy.
So let the dinghy is going wherever it's taking us.
Let the dinghy let it float on the sea. And when anybody speaks, you are not held responsible for steering the dinghy or driving it.
That's silly.
So that is what is happening now. The people just all sit in the dinghy and it floats and floats and they all be shouting for help because nobody wants to be jailed.
Yeah.
And criminalized and sent back. So is that going to really stop?
I'm not sure.
The traffickers are going to find other ways.
I'm not sure.
This is slightly cheaper and easier for them to put people in a dinghy and cross back. Look at those lorries. They put those Vietnamese in. They are not crossing in a dinghy. So they're going to find ways to put people in to still cross.
I bet they could get themselves small aircrafts and then be flying people because they know they can make the money. How about they want to fly this in a plane from a small aircraft from France to the UK? They'll just do that, just land somewhere, and then people are just off. Well, it's a sad one.
They'll find ways and still bring people. Some are hiding people into fishing trolleys. They will still continue. They've been hiding people into fishing trolleys for decades. They've never been caught. Some have been caught if the border force get
wind of it.
They cut them, but some of them are still getting out. Through that means. But you see, the dinghy is so visible. That is what the problem is with all this. So they are able to get them quite easy. And I don't know why Rwanda. I think the initial rumor was that it was going to also involve Ghana. And when the rumor went out, Ghanaians went on rampage. Ghana said, we don't want that kind of thing. And they put pressure so much, opposition and everybody. Individuals put pressure on the government. So the government say, no, we've not signed any agreement. Rightly so. But if that had been leaked out, probably it would have been Ghana.
It would have been Ghana as well.
Because Ghana and Rwanda are considered on a whole as the most stable countries in Africa. And but look, it's I just see this as hypocrisy because you see UK government condemning Rwanda government for human rights.
That's what I was saying. So when does human rights Wow. Okay. Kojo, we have got Kofi, and our time is gone as well. So let me quickly go to Kofi and let's hear him. Kofi. Hello, Kofi.
Hello.
Yes.
Kofi, I don't see myself.
Kofi, we can hear you.
Moralist. In politics, there is no moralist.
Okay.
All you have is reality. And with the world of reality, we have to be real about issues. Everyone has a duty to make their nation great for themselves and generations to come. But when we end up where we are, blaming others can never be the way forward. I'm looking at things from the perspective of those students. Their position is very clear. Those who are securing what is the purpose of security? Is this to go and turn the new place into a house forever? Or is it temporary? Go to United Nations and check. It's a temporary gift. It's not a permanent migration. Can you see?
Mm-hmm.
However, those that are coming to the country where there are challenges, you understand, that is not something that will be solved now. Of course, it will be a permanent because they have generations and generations being born in a different country. Like most of us have done, turning our refugee status into permanent citizenship. Moving beyond that, do you know how much it costs to keep one refugee here? Or are you telling me UN is coming to be paying for it? UN doesn't pay anyone for refugees.
No, UN doesn't. Yeah.
It doesn't. You must pay for yourself. And that's the thing. And it's expensive. So these people have decided that. Apart from the fact that it will be easy for them when they locate you in places like Rwanda. You understand?
Yeah.
So that people who are coming from different countries can be processed and return to their country or be allowed to come. They are also at the cost. It's far cheaper in Rwanda to keep a refugee on the taxpayer here than to keep the person here. The refugee does not have a choice. Are we going to be a refugee and have got choice to choose where we want to live? The refugee don't have a choice. Wherever you get, if you are really running from persecution and you are not running, you want to be alive. Is that not your priority?
Yeah.
That is why you left with your children hanging on your shoulders. You don't want to leave your country, but you have to leave. And as for those who are saying who is causing it, if we adapt and we can make our own guns and realizing that bombs and guns, weapons and everything, they are part of survival. And others felt, well, they can make the best ones, and we come to them in time of need, and they sold them to us. Do we blame them? It's business. We should stop this charity mindset and be real. For me, I don't have to have all those things.
Okay.
Refugee or no refugee, if we are irresponsible, faraway lands with all the education, driving cabbage around, all right? Our children come the worst of the hell is waiting for them.
Okay.
In Ghana, there are people who are even ready for more refugees to come because they will make money out of it. Really, because if you take them to Rwanda, do you know it's going to be a source of income?
Yeah. They are paying about 120 million pounds for, I don't know, for, is it the first year or whatever?
Is to ensure a standard is maintained. You see, you give them, if you give them maybe about 500 pounds for a person a month, by the Rwandan standard, that person will get a very good service.
Yeah.
And more will be left for the Rwandan government. They usually use that part of the money to keep prisoners there to upgrade the standard of prisoners of Rwanda.
Okay.
Why are you, somebody, we should always understand, somebody's misfortune is always...
Of course. We cannot discount that at all.
And we should stop the charity and pathetic voices that you hear about what did we do to become refugees in the first place. Is it an act of God or our own irresponsibility as politicians? We need to back off. Seriously.
Okay.
Every day I come, I'm telling you, the solution is in our hand. We don't need food from Ukraine. Honestly. West Africa is in a position, well organized. We shall plant the wheat. Our land can plant wheat. Don't we plant rice in West Africa? Go to Mali. There's a land for Senegal, Guinea. This is desert. A little technology will change everything. And we say we are not ready. Right? Then let us see how far we can go.
Okay.
Honestly.
Okay.
Yes, let's see how far we can go.
Let's
but
see how far.
Every day I come, I'll always my case until the day you guys said the solution to our problem is lack of the capability that will come with working together as a union called ECOWAS with everybody who is a stakeholder voting in an election directly.
Okay.
Not this quasi voting.
Okay.
Voting that is meant fraudulent vote. Because if I'm not voting, I'm voting for someone to go and represent me. And that person represents me in my voting. What kind of election is that?
Okay, Kofi, we have to go now. It's now past 1. Let me say thank you very much. Kofi saying that the way forward, come together and let's work things together from there. Kofi, let me say thank you very
much.
No,
I said we should vote. We are already together.
Okay.
Remember the vote.
Okay, thank you. Vote. Is that he want you to vote? Voting is the solution. Yes. Thank you, Kofi.
Voting by everyone for the members of the ECOWAS Parliament, for ECOWAS to be democratic is the solution.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kofi Ali Abdi Akin. Thank you. Listen to Starr Radio UK. That has been Mr. Kofi Ali Abdi Akin for you. But let me go to Kojo for his closing remarks, and then we can bring the program to a close. Kojo.
Yeah, I think like we've all agreed. As Australia did here, and there was no issue.
Mm-hmm.
And the UK has upped their game and now being described globally as the first of its kind, and the money being pumped in. Well, I only hope that the host community, the host country, people within the host country will accept the refugees being brought in. They won't see that, look, these are people who have been brought in from the United Kingdom and they have a better lifestyle than we do. And the government will end up being blamed. So invariably, if they are being looked after by British government, they will be put in very good accommodation.
Yeah, of course. They'll tell you that we want these facilities because people will go and check whether they say you throw them into some shanty. This is
I've seen a rough picture of accommodation being offered. For a lot of people in Rwanda, would they have access to that kind of accommodation?
Okay.
No. So that is where the issue really is. But as to the country making money, yeah, true. The country will make money from that. But will those people be allowed also to? There are so many questions. Although Rwanda is promising that they will make sure if the people decide to resettle in Rwanda, they will be assimilated into the population and be allowed to work. But there are issues of unemployment to that. So well, how are they going to? I mean, there's so much to deal with, and we can only hope and say that, well, it goes well, but if refugees were allowed to work in the UK, I think some of these problems would not have come up in the first place.
Of course.
Where the refugees are being fed. I mean, how many refugees did Germany take? Germany took over 3 million.
Yeah.
And they are still taking more.
Get them to work. Get them some. Let them go look for a job. Don't give them money. Get them to go and work for themselves. Fend for themselves. They'll pay the tax.
Yeah, exactly like Kofi said. If you're a refugee, you don't really, your rights could be abused. You are only told that the safest country you find yourself in, you should go there. But here's the case, that's not even the first safest country
that,
landed.
Of course.
They are not being filmed 4,000 miles from where they landed. I think they want to deter people from coming, but I don't really see some people stopping this anyway. If a person thinks I'll get into the UK and I'll be flown to Rwanda and I'll be looked after there. Why not?
Why not? All that be dying. That's why this one is a better death than dying.
Let me be looked after. And if I have another opportunity, I can enter another country.
I
don't think those people think that there's a loss in any way. I mean, it will deter some people, but for the vast majority of people who are playing Syria, they will go.
Okay.
Good afternoon. Have a lovely day.
And you. We'll catch up later. All right.
Yeah, later. Wow. All right.
Wow, listeners, it's been one interesting day today from the start of the program right down to the end of it. But what do you think about every issue that have been discussed? Yes. Well, tomorrow is Good Friday, so we're not going to be coming in. Monday is a bank holiday. Some of us will be chilling out as well with the family doing all sorts. But Tuesday morning, God willing, we'll be back. As usual, bringing you another edition of the morning show. So on that note, let me say thank you very much for tuning in. But remember, this evening, exactly at 6 o'clock, we'll be having the BB Means Business show, and then it will be followed by the Property Hour show, this time around with Vicky Newton, and is it The guest will be Des Taylor, who will be joining Vicky Nathan on the Property Hour. And they'll be looking at HMO energy bills, some secrets, focusing on rent to rent. What do you think is going to happen there? Make sure you make a date with them. So on that note, let me say thank you very much for tuning in to listen to us today. Have a blessed afternoon and a weekend. And God richly bless you. Until I come your way again, it's with me, Archie, saying bye-bye for now. But this is from the Zongo Man once again. Enjoy. Bye-bye.
The problem of Africa is the lead. Africa. Who run things, who run things, who run things. The problem of Africa is the lead. Africa. Who run things, who run things, who run things. Them all go to universities. Universities award them degrees. Big degrees.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening.
Degrees. Big degrees. MSc in stealing. Bachelor of Arts, mismanagement. Another degree. Masters in looting. MSc in corruption. Bachelor of Science, nepotism. MSc in 4 years. Another degree. Bachelor of Arts in discipline. MSc in embezzlement. The problem of Africa is the lead. Africa. Who run things, who run things, who run things. The problem of Africa